Recording to the cloud. And I will share my screen and welcome everybody to Town Hall 71. I think last Town Hall was some trip to Mexico and Cancun. We're going to stay quietly here in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And for those of you, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're sitting back and having a good week. We're going to take you through what's been going on, just a very brief town hall this time, just so that you know that behind the scenes, the team are working very hard on ensuring the flexibility of platformOS. And we are officially, and Colin, are you able to, maybe I'm going to mute people. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and mute a couple because there's some background noise coming through. I think we got it all. I'm going to blame Ray for that one. Yeah, what's been happening in the background is that the team are wanting to ensure that platformOS is able to not only scale and provide all of the performance that you want and be reliable, be secure, but also flexibility. And the flexibility means that you should be able to import and export in and out of platformOS, and also not be tied into one infrastructure as a service provider. And that's really important for us as a business. You don't want to be painted into that corner and not be able to get out of it very easily and then be beholden to that supplier. Now, you could argue that you're kind of doing that by building on platformOS. Well, our point around the architecture is to use open source solutions like GraphQL, like the good markup, allow you to use any front-end framework that you desire. So for the most part, you're creating your own models and relationships, and soon you'll be able to create your own Elasticsearch views without us doing it automatically for you. So pretty much you have carte blanche, apart from some secret sauce behind the scenes. And being able to also deploy on different infrastructure providers like Google Cloud is really important. So we are partners with Google, and in the last week, 2 weeks actually, we have successfully been deploying instances to Google Cloud. So why have we wanted to? Well, the goal is to ensure that platformOS is truly multi-cloud and that we don't get vendor lock-in, and that also provides you with flexibility and not vendor lock-in when it comes to infrastructure provider. You'll be able to choose from the partner portal which instance or which endpoint you want an instance deployed on. Maybe you're going to have staging sites on Google Cloud and your production ones on AWS. Maybe you're going to use Azure for some staging sites and then Google Cloud on some production sites and AWS on others. It's going to be up to you. We want to also continue to integrate to and with the popular and proven technologies for developers. Now, getting there means that we need to have strategic partnerships with our infrastructure providers. We have with Amazon Web Services, we have with Google Cloud, and we're signing off with Microsoft for Azure. We then have to build and test and test and test and more testing and automation, test automation as well, so that should some API endpoint on one of the infrastructure providers change and we missed it, the constant integration and test environments suite that we run all the time picks those up before you know about it. So we're having to rebuild those test scripts for these different providers. And then we want to get there and launch Q1 2020. Now, the success criteria for that will be that within the partner portal and through the partner portal API, for those of you who are leveraging that, you'll be able to build an instance and select Google Cloud as one of the endpoints. You will have auto-scaling, dedicated stacks for mid-tier and enterprise clients. So for those channel partners who are working with government or in health or in different verticals and also for clients who absolutely want dedicated stack, you'll be able to get that like you can now with AWS, but also with Google Cloud. And so us instrumenting our toolkit, our super user admin panel, which our team has access to, need to be able to deploy and set those up quickly from one dashboard. And so we're also including that. And then the flexibility for instance migration. Maybe you have a client or maybe you're building on a staging environment, doing a lot of work, you want to just migrate that easily to a different infrastructure provider. That is going to be a success criteria too. Now, moving to Google Cloud is not only about providing the cloud provider options, but also to ensure that the core platform OS architecture is truly flexible. For some SaaS builders, they go, okay, we're just going to use AWS. And they take advantage of all of the AWS APIs and functions and all of those things. And that's it. That's the only place they can deploy. Well, not the only place. If they retool and they spend a ton of DevOps time and coding time, they can also go and do that on other systems. But generally speaking, once you've really customized a solution around the APIs of your provider, like AWS or Google Cloud or Azure, then you're kind of beholden to them. And we want our architecture to be truly flexible. In the same way that you can create your own API endpoints, your own models, etc., we also want the core of our architecture to run on any of these providers. And as you'll see in a second, we are doing so. We're also splitting out a lot of our background workers into separate microservices for different queue types. Now, these are the things that run asynchronous background jobs. We need to also make sure that they run on the various infrastructure providers. So that's a separate DevOps team working on that and making that happen. And then we're also creating smaller web and worker applications and Docker images, well, the applications sit on the Docker images, which are quicker to boot as well. So along with the flexibility, we're getting the scalability and we're getting a performance improvement as well. So as things are simplified, shrunk down, getting rid of things we don't need, cut down on the bloat, performance, flexibility, and scalability. So we have our Kubernetes engine set up in Google Cloud. So our K8s are getting spun up. We're testing, we're automating, we're playing around with the different types of database, Elasticsearch, Redis cache clusters, web application servers, the platform background workers. All of that is happening. It's live, it's now. As is a site that I'm going to show you. So as a little test that we've done, as I said, the team have done all the hard work. We now have platformOS instances being able to run and deploy on Google Cloud. And not just a hello world type example, but we can actually run stuff. So I've got in here data models and geo searching. So one of our examples, as you've probably seen for those who have played around with the example site that the guys have for code examples. Here we go, using GeoJSON format for geolocation. This example, which is on the AWS stack for platformOS, is running on the Google Cloud version as well. So we're not only just doing hello world, we're doing hardcore marketplace type geo search tests so that we know that our APIs that do all the deployment, when you're running your POS CLI tool and you're doing a sync or deploy on our end, it knows, oh, this is an instance and it goes over there, that's Google Cloud. What are the nuances with that versus AWS versus Azure? And there are a couple. Obviously, it's not a one-for-one translation and you need DevOps set up accordingly. So that is an example of us on Google Cloud. We're automating, you can see that it's secure. They do use Let's Encrypt on Google Cloud. For those who think that's okay, good, because it's pretty much the only choice you have. Some people prefer the AWS Google Cloud Management certificate system, and that's purely your preference. So automation around all of this is also happening along with DNS. So very exciting, and we also want to, oops, where are we? Call out the team involved in building all of this. We've got Piotr, Ignacy, Derek and Maciek. Maciek's just kind of sat back and put his feet up, you know, CTO, he gets to have a lot of time off these days. Kidding, he doesn't. But really it's been an incredible team effort between Derek and Piotr and Ignacy doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it's come to this. So big shout out, call out, very thankful for that effort. As you saw, we do have a site running on Google Cloud. It will be set up and made available through the partner portal in due course. So that's the wrong one. Partner, there we go, partners. That's the one I want. You will see that it's added in partners in our data centers soon, so that when you create an instance and want to choose that particular data center, it will be listed. And for those of you who have got exclusive stacks that are allocated to your partner portal, you can also have exclusive Google Cloud stacks set up just for you and your team to leverage. So very exciting news. We have it live. It's not live in production as far as the partner portal yet, but we have a site live, and the QA end-to-end process is also live there. A few other little test things that we're doing. And I'm just going to open it up to questions right now. So like I said, a quick town hall, quick update. I'll also like to shout out big thanks to Jen for this amazing template that she's building out for us. You can see all these screens flying past. These are all Google presentation slides that she's put together for us. She's going to share all this with everybody, including all these icons that you can use and play with and all that. So very good. I'll stop sharing in a second. Oh, no, I need to say something. Big shout out to the Google Cloud team, I have to say. We've been working with Drishti and Ian. And Drishti in particular, she is on the team that works with our engineering department. So I gotta say, it's been amazing. And this is from the San Francisco Google office. And Drishti has just been doing an incredible job working with us to ensure that we succeed on Google Cloud. I have to give a big shout out and thanks to her for coordinating her team to help us. It's been an incredible team effort. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and throw it open to any questions.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. From our perspective, is it exactly the same? Like could we just be on AWS and create the same exact instance? And yeah,
exactly. We do not want to have any. We need a common code base for platformOS so that whatever you build and deploy works. And that way, when clients come to you and say, "Hey, we've got a contract, we can only use Azure," and that's obviously not a choice yet, but you can just go, "Yeah, that's fine." You might have a module that you've built and it's working on AWS, and boom, it should be able to just run on Google Cloud without any shift in the code that you have to do.
This may be a little too early, but do you think the pricing would be the same? Like, would it not matter, or is that going to be something that might?
It shouldn't matter. It has come up though. It's a good question. There are obviously price variances between both of them in their respective offerings. Google, I think they just invested another $4 billion in their Google Cloud infrastructure. They're very serious about it, which is why they're talking to us and helping us, because they love our business model. They want lots of sites running on Google Cloud. So there may well be different pricing regimes depending on the provider. Other questions? Feedback?
Are we? What's the first location of the first data center on Google?
That's a good question. We will probably try and replicate what we have now. It might be that we'll go, okay, we've had demand for Timbuktu. We don't have anything there. Maybe we'll put one and they can be guinea pig for the rest of us. That could be a strategy. We do want to replicate everything that we have now. In fact, we will probably have an instance or a stack running for every major region on AWS and Google Cloud. Just by default, like not wait for demand. We'll just spin them up, because once it's there, people will use it, and the demand, the flywheel begins that way. Like, oh yeah, okay, I'll use US, or I'll use UK, or I'll use Sydney. But what if we could get New Zealand up and running? All our New Zealand partners would just go, I'm just going to use New Zealand. It's available now. Otherwise, if the choice wasn't there, they'd go, oh, fine, Sydney's okay. Everyone's using Sydney anyway. But I think once we can, we will just spin them up everywhere.
And if we have a site live on Oregon, we can move it seamlessly in the future to any stack we want.
Actually, the export option and migration should allow you to do that from one stack to another stack even now. So from Oregon to Sydney, or Sydney to Oregon, Oregon to London, that export, import process or migration should work even now. And it will be the same across data infrastructure providers as well. So if it could be from London to London, going from AWS to Google Cloud. Now, of course, there's going to be the DNS changes. You're going to have different load balancers and endpoints relating to your DNS, fully qualified domain name, for your load balancer. So that will change. And you'll have to manage client expectations around downtime, possible downtime while that happens, or put things in maintenance mode, do the migration, then bring it up on another region, because you may not want to have to deal with the data difference.
And if we, for some reason, needed to spin up a new data center, how long would that take?
Spinning up a new data center now, like AWS, we could do it in half a day. But spinning up new stacks can take 30 minutes, an entire stack, ready to run, an entire banking operation on it. It could have, it could be any number of database servers and application servers, because that's the part of platformOS that we're refining and making more and more smaller Docker images to be able to spin them up fast. And we've got all of the templates written to orchestrate a full deployment, spinning up servers, finding out what their API endpoints are internally inside the infrastructure, mapping all of those across the application servers, the load balancers, the Redis cluster, the Elasticsearch cluster, and the database. And it just spins them up. And then the orchestration tool will go, okay, here we go. You connect with that, you connect with that, you connect with that. And it sits there and monitors everything and does all of the logging for us around the health of that particular stack. But it's all been written in scripts so that we can make it very fast to deploy.
Awesome.
And this is one of the challenges that we've had as a team, in that AWS provides these orchestration tools to deploy natively within AWS, but then you're kind of locked in. They have CloudFormation and ECS. We've opted to some new, cool, awesome open source tools that are incredible, and they work with everything. In fact, we could have our own data center, put servers into rack space if we wanted to, and just deploy and manage our own bare metal, which we're looking at down the track too, talking about cost reduction, performance improvement. Also for clients, some enterprise clients, we're doing some stuff. We're now registered to be able to do business with the United States government. That's very exciting. And the reason for that is that there's a big opportunity, more on that later, but being able to, I lost my train of thought. We're talking about Docker spinning up, orchestrating individual stacks. Yes, being able to, if you've got a large client and you need to have that dedicated stack spun up, they may have very specific criteria, HIPAA compliance and a whole bunch of other things. You need to be able to prove that. You'll be able to, you can do it on platformOS. More questions, comments, concerns? Well, that was easy, short and sweet. Big shout out again to the team who are doing amazing things, and to the Google Cloud team for the support they've provided, Drishti and Ian, thank you. And we will be celebrating with cake soon. Google are sending us a big cake. That's a true story. They've got thanks Scott for liking that new template. They've got a goal to help us get over the line with, and we're going to get there. So we get cake. Yeah, the template's amazing. Jen is going to share this so that you can all take a copy of it. I've hacked it up a bit in my presentation here, but she's done a fantastic job. And I'll shut that down. You can see all the slides she's done, all of that, all the icons she's added, and this is just going to be made available to everybody so that you've got some kind of style guide. If you're ever promoting us or doing a town hall, you can use the template. All right. Well, that's it. Any more thoughts? Who's going to be volunteering for next week? Hey, we've got 2 Justin Freshfields in the room. How does that happen?
Split personality.
I thought it might have been Rich, just hiding under Justin's name. No? All right, well, same guy, 2 different logins. Okay. No worries, mate. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording.